So I've uploaded a design, and I just picked this off of Pixabay just as an example to use. So let's just play along here. And I've got this design, and it's a kitty cat, and he's jumping rope. Now the problem is there's color in the background. So there's a blue background. So what do I do? As I scroll on down, I can see that there's different products enabled. And the problem I'm going to run into is I don't know what the color is. So I can either make it really large, like on the phone cases and skins, I can make it really large. And so it just looks like kind of maybe a moon is in the background or something. Or when I scale it down, I've got these white streaks now. So the question is, how do I know which color I'm going to use as a background so that I can match it? Because if I set the background, then I choose a color, I can, like, you know, a lot of new people do this. They kind of just roll around and they try, oh, that's pretty close. Maybe it's that, maybe it's that. See how close I'm getting? Maybe it's that. Well, if it's not that, then there's trouble, because somebody's going to order that design. They're going to see that there's now a line. It's going to look amateurish, and they're going to return it, and your sale is going to go into the wind. So I'm going to show you in this video how to get an exact color match and a couple other tips and tricks as well. Let's go. Okay, so I'm currently in Photoshop, and I'm using a relatively old version of Photoshop. In fact, it's pretty ancient. It's a Photoshop CS2. But if you're using any version of Photoshop, this will work. And what I'm going to do is just remove the background in that image. So I'm just going to open up a template. And if you're ever wondering about, you know, template sizes and stuff, what I'd recommend is that you just create a template called Redbubble, and then, you know, I've got different templates set up, different, you know, different sizes, and I've got a width here of 6480 pixels and a height of 7632 pixels and a resolution of 300. So I'd recommend you can, you know, you can manually type this in every time and create a new document, or you can just open up the template, and that's fine too. You can also just open up the image itself. So I'm just could do that as well. Could just click on, just open up the actual image, and there's nothing wrong with that as well. So I'm just going to, either way it works. You can either place the image, or you can just open the image. Now, what I'm going to do here is, most people will click on the eraser tool, and they'll like start to, you know, remove the image, but then there's another color underneath it because they're looking over here, and there's like a black image underneath, and this isn't going to work, right? So what I would recommend, let's start all over again from the beginning, is I've got a brand new, I'll start right over from the very beginning. So I'm going to create a new document here, a new document, and it's Redbubble is my template name, and my width is 6480, my height 7632. Now I have a transparent background that I'm starting with. Okay, now I'm going to go File, Place. I'm going to place the image. Now I've got a transparent background. All right, now I can remove this background, and the way to remove it is to click on the little eraser tool, which is on the left hand side. But instead of just using the eraser tool, I'm going to hold down on the eraser tool. So I'm clicking the mouse and I'm holding down, and I've actually got three options. I've actually got a magic eraser tool as well, and so I'm going to click on the magic eraser tool. Now when I click on my image, it's going to ask me if it wants to be rasterized. That's fine. Rasterizing just changes it into a true picture, and I'm going to click on anywhere that is that blue color that I want to get rid of. So when I click on it, the blue will disappear all the way up to anywhere that's closed. See how there's the hands are going out with the rope? So I'm just going to click inside there as well. Now I've removed all of the color. Now it may be a bit difficult to see, so I'm going to add a new layer in here. Just move the layer underneath it, and I'll just change it to any color in the palette. So I've got an entire color palette here. I'll just change it to red, for example. And when I use the paint can tool, I can fill in that layer, and we can see now any color that I want to change it to in the background, I could do so. So that's one option, is just to remove the color completely. And when you want to remove the color and you go into this magic eraser tool, you're going to get this tolerance thing at the top. I've got the tolerance set to 30, but you could change that anywhere from 1 to 100. So I'm going to just do this again, but I'm going to change the tolerance on it. So I'll just do new, open up my design again, place my design again. But I'm going to change the tolerance this time on the magic eraser tool, but instead of 30 I'm going to change it to 1, which is like the minimum tolerance, meaning it's super like picky about what it's going to change. And when I click on it, because the color is all the exact same, it will remove it. But if the color wasn't, if the color had like any sort of gradient, like see inside this little guy, he's got like some grays and some different colors. When I click on it here, nothing really happens because I'm only removing that one little tiny pixel. And as soon as it, oh, see there, I got rid of a little bit of it. And as soon as I click on anything that is sort of, there it is, sort of the same, he changes and we remove all of the same color. So it's trying to remove all of the same color. So if I change this tolerance now to 100, which is the maximum tolerance, then when I click inside this guy, the whole thing's going to disappear because it's so all-encompassing, it's just going to remove all of it. So I typically will go to 30 as my go-to, and I'm not saying that's the right number, I'm just saying that's the number that I use most of the time. It's a nice balance of being broad enough that it'll pick up any tiny inconsistencies in the color. Like if this blue was a gradient, for example, 30 would generally pick it up. So magic eraser, I'll change the tolerance now to 30, and then I can just click on this design and I can remove those two pieces. So again, that's one option, is using this design now without any background color. So now when I upload this to Redbubble, it doesn't matter what my background color is. I can make it any blue I want. I can make it any background color, blue, purple, green, doesn't matter. So that's one option to remove the color. There's another option inside of Photoshop that you can use. It's pretty easy. It's this little eyedropper tool over here, and you can see it looks like a little eyedropper. And when I click on it, what will happen is now when I move the eyedropper over any part of the image and I click on it, it's going to tell me what the color is. So keep your eye on this bright purple here, and when I click on this blue, see how it changed? Now it changed to the actual color. So when I click on the color palette, it will now open up this color picker and it gives me the exact RGB numbers. It also gives me other numbers as well. I use RGB mostly. This is the one that I use a lot as well. And that's the true palette number. So I can just copy that. I could basically, right click it and copy it. And now I can use this in Redbubble when I'm uploading the design. So I can go in now to Redbubble, and what I can do is I can set my background to be that exact color. I'm just going to paste in now, Control V, that exact color. So I was close when I was guessing it, but now that's the exact color. So that's, and you can do this now for all of your designs, right? So for example, this graphic t-shirt, you can click on that, and let's say you don't want to have the stripe. Well, you can set the background and I can just paste in that number and it changes the entire product to be that exact color. So that's way nicer now from a graphic t-shirt perspective. And again, I'm limiting the color now, but at least I know it's matching exactly. So that's option number 2, is you can just use the color picker off of Photoshop to figure out what the actual true color is. Okay, so what if you're screaming into your computer and your laptop and your iPad and you're saying, hold on, I don't have Photoshop. I don't have swanky software that I can use to pick the color. Well, that's okay. We can just go online as long as you have access to the internet, and we can figure it out here. So you can type in, what is the color RGB online? And what you're going to get back is a bunch of different results. The one that I like is this one called geniefab.com. So I'm just going to click on that. And what you can do is see this color wheel. I'm just moving around the color wheel, and you can see right over here it's moving. It's giving me the true hex number, and that's that number that I was copying and pasting earlier into Redbubble. So when I move around here, that's great. Now I can upload my actual image. So I'll just upload the original image that I was using, which is the cat jumping. And when I hover over, see my X and my Y is moving, but notice my hex number is staying the exact same. It's 88A0C2. So that's my number. So I can just take this number now, right click, copy it, and I can basically put that now into Redbubble. So you can find the actual, and you can upload your finished design. If you changed it and you had a bunch of different colors, you could pick one and go, okay, well, I'd like it to match exactly. So I hope that helps. A couple different options here for you to make sure that your colors really are matching on the design. You don't want to guess. We want to remove the guesswork. So if you found this helpful, as always, please hit the like, hit the subscribe, leave me a comment, ask me a question. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much. Hope you guys found this helpful.